right, we've got a great number on the webinar. So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining the Discover Australia webinar today. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time zone you're joining from. We've got a great spread joining us from across the globe. So I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we're meeting today and pay my respects to their elders past and present. I'm joining from Wiradjuri land this morning, so please feel free to put in the chat where you're joining from today. We're thrilled to welcome participants from around the globe and to give you the opportunity to explore and connect with Australia's vibrant agri-food tech and innovation landscape. So this webinar is all about helping you as international organisations get a clearer picture of Australia's agri-food sector ahead of AvokeAg, which is happening just under 2 weeks up in Brisbane. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the event, Angela Wakeman will provide an overview later in the session. So we want to give you the chance to explore the unique strengths, industries and opportunities that each of our state and territory has and give you an understanding of the nuances that makes each of those stand out. So whether you're joining us to prepare for AvokeAg in Brisbane or simply to learn more about the Australian ecosystem, we're here to help you scope out potential connections and opportunities for collaboration. Now, this is the first time we've held these types of webinars, and we'd love your feedback afterwards. So keep an eye out for the survey that will come through to gather your valuable feedback. So a few quick housekeeping items before we begin. Today's session will run for 90 minutes. Each speaker has been allocated a specific time. So to help us keep on track, we'd love it if you provided questions ahead of the Q&A session, which we'll have at the end of the webinar. So we do have a Q&A function in this Teams webinar, so please feel free to use that as we go along. And each of our speakers and extras that we've got on the call will answer them as well as we go. And if we don't get to your question today, we'll follow up afterwards with a written response where possible. So this session is being recorded and we will share the recording with everyone who's registered after the event. But before we dive into our fabulous speakers, I'd like to introduce you to AgriFutures Australia, the organisation that I'm joining from. So AgriFutures Australia is one of Australia's 15 rural research and development corporations, otherwise known as RDCs. And it's a uniquely Australian model for driving agricultural innovation and research. So RDCs are funded through a combination of government contributions and industry levies, and that enables us to invest in research, development and extension to support the sustainability, profitability and resilience of Australia's rural industries. So at AgriFutures Australia, we proudly support the research need of 13 levied industries, and this includes a variety of industries from chicken meat to rice, honeybee and pollination. We also have ginger, thoroughbred horses, goat fibre, to name a few. And that's really around delivering innovative solutions that future-proofs our industries. And we also receive funding from the government with a mandate that goes beyond our research, development and extension. And that's around driving the growth of emerging industries here in Australia, such as sesame, industrial hemp, seaweed, and also we develop a number of programs that support workforce and leadership needs across agriculture, which I'm sure is something that features high on the agenda wherever you're joining from today. We also work to tackle national challenges and opportunities to future-proof Australia's industries, whatever commodity, and we connect with the global agri-food innovation ecosystem, and we run initiatives like today and our AvokeAg event and GrowAg platform. And I'm sure as we go through the chat, links to those will be provided. And that's really around positioning Australia as a thriving global agri-food technology and innovation hub. So thank you again for being part of today's webinar. We look forward to any thoughts, feedbacks, or requests for connections. And with that, I'd like to introduce our first speaker, who is from New South Wales. Ailey Webb is the Acting Manager for Farms of the Future at the Department of Primary Industries and Regional Development. She's going to kick things off with an overview of New South Wales agri-food innovation landscape. So over to you, Ailey.
Thanks, Harriet, and good morning, everyone. And a quick thanks to AgriFutures for pulling together this webinar. It's such a fantastic opportunity for us to showcase what's happening in the world of agtech in New South Wales. I'd like to share my screen and show you some slides, firstly outlining what the landscape is looking like, but also what our program has to offer. So as Harriet mentioned, I'm the manager of the Farms of the Future program, and it's a program that's aimed to increase the adoption of agtech for farmers in New South Wales. So just on New South Wales, our regional overview. So we have a state economy that's set to tip the 1 trillion mark by 2030, which encompasses the largest regional workforce in Australia. Like all of the other states, Australia has a rapidly growing Asian market on our doorstep, and we have very vibrant regions plugging into Sydney to offer unrivaled investment opportunities. We've got some of the world's best agricultural businesses here in our state, producing very high quality commodities. And also the location is fantastic for agribusiness and food companies based out of Sydney and the surrounding regions to process food, livestock, cereals, pulses, oilseeds, cotton nuts, fruit, vegetables. And you will find some more information on all of these bits and pieces in our 2-pager. So I'm not going to spend too much time on these points. Needless to say, regional New South Wales produces almost 1/5 of Australian sector's exports, which we're very proud of and always looking to grow and increase efficiencies in. New South Wales is proud to have a world-leading innovation ecosystem where strong support is provided for areas such as alternative proteins manufacturing, which reflects also our primary industries research and agribusiness initiatives. So a quick overview on regional New South Wales. There is more information in that 2-pager that I had mentioned. So I'll move on to Farms of the Future, which is a very targeted agtech program. The opportunity was identified with agriculture being the least digitised sector in Australia, with the potential to increase GVP by 25%. For New South Wales, that equates to the potential increase of 3 billion per annum in GVP. At that same time, that opportunity was identified. The barriers to agtech adoption were also outlined. We all know on-farm connectivity is a challenge, and historically poor user experience, limited post-install support, and also low digital capability levels were causing some hurdles. There's also an identified lack of interoperability between hardware and software, but also an unclear value proposition for some. So this barriers to agtech adoption is where Farms of the Future really was born. Bear with me. So our aim, to accelerate the adoption of agtech to boost productivity, increase competitiveness and improve the sustainable use of resources. Our program's success to date. We've trained over 1,000 New South Wales farmers, both in person, in that photo that you see there in one of our training rooms, but also online. And that online training is available to anyone who's interested, not just New South Wales farmers. We've created an agtech toolbox, which is an online resource encompassing over 50 suppliers, 1,800 agtech products, and now emerging online farmer stories, case studies, blog posts. We also ran a one round of grants to incentivise the adoption of agtech. We have 365 farms with agtech installed, with also underlying connectivity solutions in place. This gives us probably the most up-to-date and accurate sense of what farmers are needing in the Australian marketplace when it comes to agtech. We've run 9 AgTech Alley events at leading New South Wales field days, which has been incredibly successful. And we're underway with the establishment of 10 AgTech demonstration sites at New South Wales DPIRD research stations, but also establishing grower collaboration sites with those farmers who were lucky enough to receive grants. Where are we going next? So the program is funded through until 2028, and we have a renewed focus building on our foundational education program, but a renewed focus in building tiers of education. These will all be available online with the support of our AgTech specialists in the field. We'll deliver education not only through training, but also through case studies and our national AgTech community of practice. As I mentioned, our AgTech demonstration is a critical part of that adoption journey for farmers. So we have over 18, we'll have more than that 18 that I mentioned, demonstration sites built. We're looking at a new area of applying AgTech into new and emerging management scenarios for farmers, such as natural capital, biosecurity, low emissions farming systems. So that's a really exciting space for us. But also that tried and true industry engagement, which is so critical for the adoption of new management practices. So we will have the AgTech toolbox undergoing a bit of a rework, a supplier portal, so our AgTech suppliers can stay connected, and also those events that I mentioned, the AgTech alleys. My team, we have a team of 12 and continuing to grow. Myself as the manager, I then have senior project leads in education, in implementation, and in AgTech applications. Myself, Hamish, and Tom will be at Evoke Ag, so take a screenshot now, and we would love to hear from you and have a cup of coffee or a glass of wine if you so choose, but we would love to connect at Evoke. Would like to point out here the spread across the state of New South Wales. So the breadth of support that Farms of the Future is providing for farmers and AgTech suppliers to make those connections and run those events. So I'm here in Newcastle on Awabakal country. We've got a couple of people in Orange in the Central West, few on the coast, and growing inland. So we've got a great spread across the state. This is our website here, agtech.newsouthwales.dpi.gov.au. That's where the toolbox lands, and you'll find everything that you need about the program there. But I guess what I would like to highlight is that what we're hoping to do is to create an educated and confident customer base for all AgTech suppliers, both in Australia and for those investing from overseas. We're in a really unique position where we are well connected with the 365 farmers who have received funding to invest in AgTech. And we're right on the cusp of, I believe, applying AgTech for emerging scenarios in farm management that will, I think, drive that next wave of adoption. So I've got a little bit of time. If there's any questions, I can only see my screen at the moment. So I'm going to stop sharing and just come out into the chat. How much longer do we have for New South Wales? Have we got time to field a few Q&As?
We've got 2 minutes, Ailey, but what we might do is we might just, if there's any questions come through in the Q&A, we'll move that to the end just to make sure that we get through everyone. But well done on being and providing such a fantastic and comprehensive update on an overview of New South Wales industries and innovation updates. So thanks so much, Ailey, and encourage everyone, if they've got questions for Ailey or any of the other speakers, to utilise the Q&A function, because we have got time at the end to come back to particular speakers. So thank you so much, Ailey. I just now want to introduce Upendra. So Upendra is joining us from New South Wales. Is joining us from the Northern Territory. So Dr. Upendra Shekhawat is the horticulture group leader at the Northern Territory Department of Agriculture and Fisheries, and he's going to share his insights into the Northern Territory's unique agri-food ecosystem. So over to you, Upendra.
Good morning, all from everywhere. Indeed, we are very unique. I'm joining you from Darwin, and I would like to share my screen. My presentation will be looking like a little bit more detailed, and we're going to look at what things we are doing and what we are going to do in the near future. So let me share my screen. Okay, so currently I'm acting director plant industries, and I work within the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries, looking after the agriculture region. Currently I'm horticulture group leader, but also acting as director. First of all, acknowledgements. So I pay my respects to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples and elders who have enduring connections to the land, water, and communities, and I am placed in the Larakia land. I acknowledge the diversity of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures, languages, and practices, and the resilience of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples in keeping this alive. And I thank Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people for their continuing custodianship and care for the country that we live and work on today. I think I have a glitch here. Okay. So agriculture is a proud place in a contested northern landscape, and I would like to quote a text from Northern Australia Action Plan that agriculture is a key contributor to Northern Australia economy, and growth should be based on regional planning underpinned by the best available science, aim to minimize any environmental and water resource impacts, and be informed by local community and consultation. The Northern Territory government is working to support and enhance agricultural, fisheries, and forestry industries, helping to make them more productive and internationally competitive and sustainable as well as profitable. Territory's agriculture and forestry fishery sector produces clean, safe, and natural product in our pristine environments and continue to grow through expansion and diversification. And we are working to support and enhance our primary industries to make them more productive, internationally competitive, sustainable, and profitable. In an Australian context, Northern Territory is the top end, and changing socio-economic content, land availability, and climate conditions are presenting a unique opportunity for the NT to sustainably develop its extensive untapped natural land and water resources and become an agricultural powerhouse of the region. Now, coming to the challenges, distance, obviously, climate change and achieving scale are our biggest challenges, where international innovation and collaboration can provide an impetus to further grow our economy. And that's why we are here presenting 2 weeks before the EVOC. Obviously, we are a government agency and we work through a strategic plan. Briefly, our goals are to drive sustainable economic growth, empower territory business, value territory resources, and build organizational capacity. And the outcomes that we are expecting is to make our industry sustainable and competitive for the benefit of all Territorians. The territory business environment should be competitive and resilient to incoming challenges. We should be responsible and sustainable development of our resources has to be undertaken. And the government also strives to be the employer of choice through a high-performing, responsive, and connected organization. Coming to our industries, and I mentioned earlier that I will go in a little bit more of a detail. So livestock is our larger contribution to the agricultural economy. Coming back to the horticulture, we are the largest mango producing jurisdiction in Australia with 128.8 million a couple of years ago. We are also pretty strong in melons and vegetables, nursery, and 150 million for forestry production. Bush foods and botanical have immense potential in Northern Territory, and we have recently joined the bandwagon to do some amazing work on vanilla and agaves. First of all, some facts for the Northern Territory. It's a vast land area. We have a population of around 250,000, and 4 different climate types, a lot of variation in rainfall, and obviously the soil types are much varied. Northern Territory soils are mostly characterized by their sandy nature with really low amount of clay. So we're doing some work to actually improve the soil quality and seeing where R&D can take us. Coming back to our R&D priorities, agribusiness development with First Nation peoples is our priority, and we do want to engage for co-design of opportunities, entrepreneurship, and skills. Improving profitability through innovation, diversification, and smart farming. We strive to actually work through these and also to strengthen partnerships by engaging with growers, investors, supply chain stakeholders, both in Australia and overseas. We provide extension for research delivery outputs and try to develop new alliances to develop research development extension projects to the benefit of Northern Territory industries. Now, coming back to some very specific things that we are doing, this will give you an idea as to the length and breadth of the scope plant industries are doing in Northern Territory. This is one of the project which is almost reaching completion, which is safeguarding indigenous-led forestry in Northern Australia. This is led by our forestry group. So here we are doing 6 field campaigns to understand what needs to be done, learned, and taught to make biosecurity business as usual in indigenous-led forestry enterprises in the Northern Territory. So this project aims to build new partnerships to face future risks to strengthen our plant biosecurity system. Coming back to the Northern Territory Indigenous Pastoral Program for increasing the participation of Indigenous people in Northern pastoral industry, we are supporting the best practice, culturally appropriate development and grazing management of Aboriginal lands to improve herd productivity and increasing cattle numbers on Aboriginal lands. Also to provide business support for Aboriginal livestock enterprises by business management, property planning, funding applications, and livestock and financial record keeping. We are quite active in the levy-paying horticulture industries, and Northern Territory mangoes is a Northern Australia success story. It's profitable and expanding. We are driven by market opportunity and consumer demand. Darwin mangoes are the first in Australian market, and they get a premium price for the same. We do a lot of research and development on the mango sector. 53% of Australian mangoes are from NT, and as I said, $128 million per year. 40,000 tons or almost 4.6 million trays of mangoes are produced in Northern Territory. We are doing a supply chain project funded by Hot Innovations called Service Supply Chains 2, and which focus on a development of shelf life prediction models that factor in regional variability, harvest maturity, treatments, and chilling procedures. If anyone you would like to get connected to the project team, this is an amazing project which has learnings and which the outcomes are pretty relevant for global mango industry. Climate change, as I said, it's one of the biggest challenges that we are going to face in the next few years, and we are actually trying to do a lot of projects to get insight into the effects of future and minimum and maximum temperature especially for mango cultivars, because mangoes are pretty sensitive to increasing temperature. The flowering has a threshold of temperature, and so we need to work on that in an urgent basis. Coming back to emerging horticulture industries, and here where Agrifuture has supported us over the years, including this project of developing ready-to-market jackfruit products for Australian market growth, where we are doing research to actually provide the Australian market with ready-to-eat jackfruit products. We also developed research development extension plan for vanilla industry, and then we are embarking on a new comprehensive research program for vanillas through protected cropping. Australian date palm. So this is a really interesting information that Northern Territory Department of Agriculture and Fisheries hosts the biggest germplasm for dates in the Southern Hemisphere. And we are continuing to embarking to leverage this germplasm for the benefit of Australian date industry. We have also recently started a cotton grains and cattle program. This 4-year, $8 million program is Cooperative Research Centre for Northern Australia largest investment. Among them, the main one is crops for cattle, increasing the efficiency for Northern Australian cattle production systems. And we are working for 10 commercial properties, 2 DAF research centers, and 2 feed companies. Pretty big 4-year program.
Pendra, I'm just going to give you a 1-minute warning.
Yes, and I'm going to complete. We're also doing a lot of cropping things based in Catherine Research Station. You can see through, we are a leader in dry fed cotton research over here in Northern Territory and Douglas Daly region. We're doing dual use peanut. They have been successful to providing an alternate to territory growers. And here you can see industrial hemp. So we are part of industrial hemp variety trials and also the hemp research program funded through Agrifutures. Catherine Cotton Gin has recently opened, and it has been a milestone for Northern Territory agriculture. This is 30 kilometers north of Catherine. This was opened in December 2023, and this is capable of processing between 150,000 and 200,000 bales yearly. So this is a challenge of the distance, and then we are trying to overcome that. We're also developing regional agriculture development areas throughout the Northern Territory. And coming back to our research development funding agencies, Agrifutures, Hort Innovation, Commonwealth, Northern Territory Government, Co-Business Assistance Center for Northern Australia. And we have a host of delivery partners, including a lot of universities, Northern Territory Farm Association, University of Florida, CSIRO.
Wonderful.
So that's all. That's all
Thank
from
you
here
so
from Darwin.
much.
Thank you
That's all
very
right.
much.
Thank you so much, Upendra. That was fantastic and great to learn, particularly around those emerging industries too. Now we're going to move geographically south to South Australia. So I'd like to welcome Tim Ingram, who is Business Development Manager, Food, Wine and Agribusiness from Invest SA, to talk about South Australia and their wonderful industries, innovation drivers and opportunities for collaboration. So welcome, Tim.
Thank you very much. I'll try and get my presentation up here. Everyone see that okay?
Tim, we can see that, which is great.
Cool. Great. Well, thank you for having me. My name's Tim Ingram. I'm based in Adelaide, South Australia. I'm a business development manager within Invest SA under the Food, Wine and Agribusiness team. Firstly, thanks to the GrowAg team for driving this initiative and the support given to all states and territories to make these webinars possible. And secondly, thank you all of you that have tuned in around the globe, whatever time it is in your area, to hear about the wealth of opportunities that Australia as a whole can offer. I'm going to start my presentation with a short video of my home state. So hopefully the technology works and it's all good. Okay, so just a little look at our Premier and our Minister. So South Australia is not just a great place to invest, it is also one of the easiest. With a deep and broad understanding of the state and its areas of competitive advantage, InvestSA understands the needs of investors and local businesses and has the expertise to create those vital links between the two. By building industry, government and academic alliances in global growth areas, InvestSA drives inbound international and national investment into South Australia across food, wine and agribusiness, green economy, resources, fuels and clean tech, defence and space, health and medical, critical and emerging tech, creative industries, tourism and many more. Does this by drawing on the knowledge and expertise of dedicated professionals with experience in supporting companies with expansion or relocation plans across multiple sectors. InvestSA is building upon South Australia's internationally recognised sustainability credentials to make the most of the economic opportunities already before us as we capitalise on the global green transition. Alongside the historic AUKUS agreement, local investment in research capability and infrastructure in priority disciplines will drive the transformation of the economy and unlock new opportunities for future generations. In doing so, InvestSA in itself is investing in the future of the state, drawing on global expertise, technologies and innovations to help create the dynamic business sector and unlocking new opportunities for the agriculture sector to thrive. Let me go to... So we work hand in hand with companies to ensure their investment outcomes are achieved through our trusted project facilitation support and our case management services. South Australia has many strengths for business and an extremely supportive and collaborative ecosystem, offering huge potential for companies looking to a new market to expand their global footprint or simply explore capabilities for potential partnerships. We adopted the manufacture where you grow tag a few years ago out of the COVID period as it resonated with many stakeholders globally in the food and ag industry to leverage the state's strengths and natural advantages within our food production system. So a few quick stats about our sector. Primary industries and agribusiness contribute 18.5 billion in revenue. 51% of Australia's overseas exports are primarily primary industries and associated processing, and the food and bev manufacturing is the largest component of manufacturing in South Australia, accounting for almost a fifth of total manufacturing activities. So our ag sector is supported by a network of innovation precincts, including the Weight Research Precinct, which is home to the largest concentration of agriculture and wine research and teaching expertise in the Southern Hemisphere, and a leading centre of Australian research capability in wine, grains, soil and plant breeding. Research organisations such as the Australian Plant Phenomics Network, the Plant Accelerator, SARDI and the ARC Centre of Excellence in Plants for Space. Lot 14 is Australia's first ideas and innovation neighbourhood and home to the Australian Space Agency, SmartSat CRC, Defence and Space Landing Pad, Fixie Startup Hub, MIT Adelaide Living Lab, Australian Institute for Machine Learning and the Australian Cyber Collaboration Centre. Our Uni of South Australia's Enterprise Hub works with organisations of all sizes to overcome challenges, innovate and add value, creating partnerships, drawing on the energy and expertise of staff, research and collaborators to produce mutually beneficial outcomes. There is a cross-disciplinary team of experts developing novel solutions for the Australian agri-food industry to showcase their sustainability credentials and reduce regulatory burden. The Tonsley Innovation Precinct is home to high-value manufacturing industries including defence, health, medical devices and assistive technologies, clean tech and renewable energy, software and simulation. Home to the Australian Industrial Transformation Institute, which is the factory of the future, SA Drill Core Reference Library, and many more. Agri-food tech companies globally can also showcase their technology on dedicated demonstration farms across the state, supported by the Primary Industries and Regions South Australian Agency. More projects are being developed across the green economy sector, from sustainable aviation fuels from biomass feedstock to waste, food waste initiatives and plastics recycling. This image here of Sundrop's Farm's tomato production facility at Port Augusta uses solar thermal technology and gets their desalinated water for their growing high-tech system. I'll quickly just go through some complementary sectors here very quickly, just to give a bit of a top view of Invest SA and where you could potentially reach into other sector teams. So the SA government is significantly investing in its renewables, with hydrogen being a top priority for generating clean, sustainable future energy requirements, with the food and agribusiness sector being a key driver. Rapidly growing space and defence sectors are driving innovation, positioning the state as a leading hub for advanced technologies, sovereign capabilities, and global industry collaboration. We're home to the Australian Space Agency and CRC Plants for Space, which aims to pioneer the capability to grow food systems in space. Adelaide has a world-renowned health and medical precinct in the heart of the city, with technology capabilities now looking to pivot to new industries like agriculture in areas such as high-tech robotics and autonomous systems. World-class tech capabilities like AI, machine learning, augmented reality, virtual reality, and a well-established network of early tech adopters. We are also home to the Australian Institute of Machine Learning. And here's just a sample of some of the global tech companies that have made Adelaide home in recent years.
Tim, I'm just going to give you your 1-minute warning.
Yep. I might skip these couple then. Okay. Home to several innovation precincts offering a network of collaborative opportunities to grow your business, all situated within about 30 minutes of the Adelaide CBD. And I'll finish up by talking about our lifestyle. So SA has a reputation for its relaxed and yet vibrant lifestyle. So I'll let these images in these last couple of pages speak for themselves. I'd like to thank everyone for joining in, and please reach out if you have any questions about this presentation or the South Australian government in general. I hope to connect with as many of you as possible and hopefully meet some of you face-to-face at a VOCAG in a couple of weeks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tim, for highlighting all that information about South Australia. Personally, I can thoroughly recommend a fantastic wine from South Australia. You really do get a fantastic drop from there. Now, I'd like to shift our focus and welcome one of my team. I'd like to introduce David Lord, who is the Senior Manager for Customer and Growth at GrowAg. So David's going to provide you an overview of GrowAg and our role in connecting and supporting the ecosystem, and more importantly, supporting you after today's webinar. So over to you, David.
Thanks a lot, Harriet. Welcome, everyone. As Harriet said, David Lord, I lead the customer and growth arm of Agrifuture's GrowAg. Many of you on the call today are quite familiar with growag.com, so great to see familiar faces. But for those who are connecting with our community for the first time, I really want to give you a quick overview of why you should engage with GrowAg and get the most out of the service. So the topic for today's webinar and the diversity of participants really exemplifies the need for the service we deliver. As we're hearing, there's so much potential across Australia, different regions, states, industries. But when we jump off this call today, or you head home from a VOC in a couple of weeks, the thing that's challenging is to stay across all those different opportunities that can help fuel your company to scale or to solve some of those meaty global challenges that you're working on. So we built growag.com to showcase some of the best of Australia's R&D. So we feature over 3,500 to 4,000 research projects that are funded out of our innovation system, which represent $800 million per annum. You'll see challenges across Australia's agri-food sector and the research funding that gets those ideas and projects really off the ground. A lot of startups and scale-ups are featured, which are also using the platform to connect with research and commercial and investment partners. And the corporates are using the platform more for scouring the world to really identify solutions that align with their strategic priorities. They want to trial, test, and commercialize technologies. So for the people on the call who are new to GrowAg, please scan the QR code in the right corner now. This will give you access to the latest research funding, investable startup and scale-up opportunities, challenge-led innovations out of Australian and global corporates, and a whole range of other programs that are supporting your organizations make some progress. And it's just a great way of connecting with opportunities in Australia. The other call to action is it's not only about connecting with the opportunities and making leads on the platform, but it's about positioning yourself and your organization within the agri-food innovation ecosystem that we're nurturing. So I want everyone to do a little bit of homework when they jump off here, play on the platform, search around for things that really relate to you. But I just wanted to give you a quick taste of the type of opportunity you can engage with today. So if you go on growag.com, search for funding, there's a whole range of different programs and opportunities that come up. But this particular one from the Grains Research and Development Corporation, which is one of Australia's largest rural research and development corporations, they're scouring the world for innovative approaches to solving problems facing the Australian grains industry, but a lot of those problems are globally relevant. If you want to get access to matched funding, this is an opportunity that's available at the moment, but there's many more like this across different industries. So if you're wondering how to position your organization or your innovation on our platform, I ask you, connect with our team. Beck Bradford, Belle Rogers, and Noah Tasker will spend time with you to understand the challenges that you're trying to solve, or really around that innovation that you're building and how you want to find partners. We'll support you with crafting opportunities, making those really valuable connections across our network. But really what we're doing is giving you access to our subscriber base and that monthly user base, which is growing every month.
David, I'm just going to give you a minute warning.
Excellent. Thanks, Harriet. And when we think about the audience for GrowAg, we've got a significant following across our LinkedIn channel, over 7,500 followers at the moment. The subscriber base that's getting our newsletter, 16,000 subscribers. And the richness of that community is, it's not only Australian, it's also global. So 50% coming from the US, New Zealand, Singapore, Germany, and emerging markets in South America and Southeast Asia. So there's a lot of different groups using the platform. In terms of partners on the platform, a lot of Australian, but also global corporates, research institutions. Couldn't do it without the support of the different governments that are also utilising the platform to find partners. But if you want to engage with Australia's emerging startup and scale-up community, come and engage with growag.com. Finally, reach out to us, send us an email, connect@growag.com. Come and visit us at the site at Evoke Ag. Come and meet with the team. Any questions, look forward to chatting later. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, David, and would encourage each of you to connect with the GrowAg team after this call, and they can also support with connecting you with any of the presenters today. So now we're going to hear from another David. We're going to hear from David Bennett from Tasmania. So he is the Executive Director for Investment Attraction at the Tasmanian office of the Coordinator General, and he's going to give us an overview of the key industries and opportunities in Tasmania. So over to you, David.
Thank you very much for that, and thank you for the exciting opportunity to present here today. So thank you very much there. As I said, so today I'm going to give you an overview of the Tasmanian agri-food industry and some of the innovative ways that we are supporting the ag tech and supporting the agriculture industries through innovation there. So as you said, I'm from the Office of the Coordinator General in Tasmania. We're the Tasmanian government's principal entity for attracting and supporting investment into the state, and also supporting strategic projects as well. We do that through promoting Tasmania as an investment destination internationally and domestically as well. And we help those businesses that are looking to expand, establish, or relocate to Tasmania through site selection, connecting them with regulators, government, major stakeholders, and helping them navigate the Tasmanian business environment. We also have a mandate to reduce red tape within Tasmania to make it easier to do business here, and we also support the innovation and startup community. And one of our particular focuses has been ag tech. So a quick snapshot of Tasmania here down the southern island here. We have a relatively small market, but in 580,000 people. But we do have a significant land mass. We're actually the size of, or approximately the same size as Sri Lanka or the Republic of Ireland. But approximately 48% of our land is in national parks and reserves. So that provides us with a strong reputation for our nature-based activities, and now also contributes to our clean green image. We also have one of the few jurisdictions in the world that have 100% renewable energy. We might only have 2% of Australia's landmass, but we do have 27% of the nation's freshwater dam capacity. That contributes to our renewable energy position, but has also contributed strongly to our agricultural sector. We also have what has been recorded as the cleanest air in the world in northwest Tasmania, and we have a position of net negative carbon emissions within the state, which is primarily due to our state's strong forest reserves and forest practices. So just to look at why businesses look to Tasmania as a place to do business. One of the key reasons is our abundant natural resources, and in from an agricultural perspective, it is our rich soils, our reliable rainfall, our water storage there that has really strongly contributed to a diversified agricultural system. We also have a global reach and a cost competitive place to do business. We also have a more stable climate than many areas, and with a reduced risk of natural disasters. So that provides greater certainty, and we've been able to reduce those risks, particularly with irrigation systems. Our renewable energy position has also been something that has been very attractive to food processing and manufacturing sectors as well. So moving on to the ag food industry in Tasmania. So the Tasmanian government has a vision to grow our agri-food industry to 10 billion by 2050. In 2022, the farm gate value was 3.65 billion. That's driven by a diverse range of sectors. Aquaculture is the largest sector within our agri-food industry, but dairy, beef and lamb are all very significant contributors to it. We also have a range of vegetables, potatoes being the largest, but also onions, carrots, and many other vegetables that are grown and processed here in Tasmania. Berries has been one of the largest growing areas of the agricultural sector in our state, with the size of the berries growing over 7 times in the last 15 years. Cherries continues to grow as well, and particularly with a focus on exports. Our viticulture continues to grow, as does our other fruits and our superfine and specialist crops that have become more and more important, particularly in the biotech sector. 80% of all of the products grown in Tasmania are sold to markets outside of Australia, outside of Tasmania. That includes to the rest of Australia, but also to climates overseas. And that demonstrates that our small market is not an impediment. Our water security has been a growing strength and a reason for business to look to Tasmania, but it's also been a opportunity for innovation with a range of different proof of concept trials being conducted on our irrigation systems. Our counter seasonality also has many advantages, and that has meant that there's been looked to Tasmania to innovate and supply products particularly to the Northern Hemisphere, and look to innovate with some of our research institutions. Our biosecurity is another advantage that Tasmania has, where we have relative freedom from certain pests and diseases, and we also have a really highly competitive food industries with some of the leading international businesses operating within our state. Our viticulture continues to grow as a cool climate wine, and we have 7 different growing regions within the state. We also established a infrastructure in the ability to with the LoRa network within, particularly within Launceston, and also a creation of Internet of Things sensor manufacturing hub within the state. Some of the key challenges that our state faces are similar to what we've been discussing from some of the other states, but data accessibility and connectivity continues to be a challenge in some regional areas, but there has been strong investment in improving data storage, integration and connectivity throughout the state, and also creating that wireless Internet of Things network within our regional cities. Irrigation management has been a challenge previously, but we've continued to expand our irrigation platforms, and the recent investment into the Greater South irrigation schemes will bring forward much more greater opportunities within the southeast and Tasmania. Resource monitoring and waste management is one of the key opportunities that we see in the state, and in an area where we've had a lot of focus on ag tech, which I'll elaborate on further, but particularly into looking at opportunities to process waste and get value out of waste through elements such as precision fermentation and other valorization projects. Emissions reduction is a key area, and we have had a lot of investment into the growth of Asparagopsis within Tasmania, with a native species of seaweed on the east coast of Tasmania, and we have currently got a significant trial program, a large-scale program that was being supported by the Tasmanian government with the Low Emissions Livestock Grant Program. Logistics for Tasmania is a challenge. We have the Tasmanian Freight Equalisation Scheme to support that, but we continue to look into opportunities to look at improvements to logistics, and we've supported that through some ag tech proof of concept startups.
Tim, I'm just going to give you a minute warning.
Okay, thank you very much. So just a quick look at some support for innovation and tech. So we have our Tasmanian Institute of Agriculture and the University of Tasmania. The Tasmanian Institute of Agriculture has a range of research farms, as well as works with institutions from around the world. We also have the Research Centre for Innovation for Horticulture is one of those examples there. We also have a focus on marine science within Tasmania, which supports our aquaculture industry. We have a range of different government initiatives that support that, and we also have some significant collaboration opportunities that we're able to support as well. One of the recent innovations in the last 3 years, we've had a startup accelerator program that has been focused on food tech exclusively, Food Tech Tasmania. The focus areas of this has been the circular economy, fermentation, as well as functional foods. This has been an accelerator program that brings startups from around the world, to Launceston, where I am now. Launceston is a UNESCO City of Gastronomy, and that's helping to develop innovative solutions within the ag tech industry. And we've had a range of proof of concept projects that have come out of that, and some collaboration trials, one particularly in the valorization of fruits, working with our fermentation economy, as well as the state's largest freeze-dried business.
Tim,
we also have
sorry, David, I'm going to have to pull you up there, unfortunately.
No worries.
And apologies for calling you Tim, but thank you, David, for sharing Tasmania's fantastic insight into fantastic agri-food sector. So a reminder, please, if anyone has any questions, to put them into the Q&A function. Also, if you're looking for particular connections, we've had some great chat come through in the chat. And then obviously our fantastic speakers are answering questions as we go, and also answering or offering those connections. So that's absolutely wonderful. So next up, we will hear from the Executive Director of Agriculture Sector Development and Services, Dougal Purcell from Agriculture Victoria, and also Director of Investment of Innovation and Partnerships, Rebecca Bailey from Invest Victoria, who will together give an overview of Victoria's agri-food tech sector and its opportunities. So welcome, Dougal and Rebecca. Dougal, I just need to get you to come off mute there.
Sorry, someone had to do it. Dougal Purcell's my name, based in Ballarat, Central Victoria, great spot. I'm on Wathaurong country, the traditional owners of the Wathaurong people. I'd like to pay my respects to the Wathaurong people and acknowledge their elders past, present and emerging. So we're from the great state of Victoria, Rebecca and I, and a few quick insights into our state. Our Victorian government, the state government, has in December last year launched the Victorian Economic Growth Statement. And the Economic Growth Statement is all about how do we drive and continue to grow the economy in Victoria. Within that Economic Growth Statement, agriculture has been identified, and agribusiness as one of the core areas for the Victorian government to focus on. And that's because in Victoria, we're very proud of our agriculture industry, and it's important to us. We're pretty proud. From 3% of Australia's land mass, Victoria produces 23% of Australia's gross value of agricultural production. We as a state are on track to export more than $20 billion worth of food and fibre exports by 2030, and I think we'll hit that target earlier. We've got an industry, an agricultural industry, that's growing about 15% year on year at the moment, and in the last financial year was worth $20 billion. But really underpinning a lot of that is an investment in innovation, technology, and modernising our agricultural industry. So we have a really strong culture of innovation. In Victoria, we have a very strong focus on growing the ecosystem for agriculture technology and supporting startups. And we believe we've got about 3,500 startups in Victoria, and we think that's grown 23 times since 2016. We also, we're home to 25% of the Australian farm businesses, and climate change is impacting Victoria, declining terms of trade are impacting Victoria, and those farmers are demonstrating an ability to innovate and adopt technology to remain profitable and competitive. Victoria, like the other states, has got a very strong investment in research and innovation centres. And we have what on the bottom right there, we've got a range of what we call smart farms all across Victoria. And these smart farms are commercial farms that the Victorian government invests in to drive innovation, demonstrate technology, and really be on the cutting edge of the agricultural sector. So, for example, our smart farm down at Ellenbank, Victorian government-owned farm, commercial dairy farm, where we're looking to be a carbon neutral dairy farm within the next few years. In our Tatura smart farm in the Goulburn Valley, just north, we're really trialling some innovative approaches to horticulture with solar technology, carbon neutrality, and a range of things like that. One of our really big investments in innovation is what we call AgriBio. and that's just in Bundoora, just north, well, on the outskirts of Melbourne, not far from the airport. We're very proud of AgriBio. It's run with La Trobe University, and it's a $288 million research facility, absolutely cutting edge with the best technology, where we are really driving our bioscience and agricultural research. In addition to our sort of innovation and research, we've had a strong investment over the last recent years to grow and support the agricultural ecosystem. We've had a $15 million investment, which has provided pre-accelerator and startup support for agricultural technology programs. We've had grant programs to help those early innovative businesses establish and get going. We've had fund programs that invest up to $200,000 in an individual business, such as the Hugh Victor Mackay Fund, and then a range of education and other programs to really support our agricultural startups across the state. So that's all I wanted to cover. But Invest Victoria have got a very important role in growing our state and our economy. So over to you, Beck.
Thanks, Dougal. I'm an investment director at Invest Victoria, so it's really my task to outline the support services that wrap around any investor into Victoria. So Dougal, if you want to move to the first slide. Invest Victoria is a single entry point for business on all investment related engagements and business expansion in Victoria, and obviously supporting our colleagues across Victorian government, including Agriculture Victoria. Victoria has an undisputed reputation for supporting businesses to succeed through its commitment to building deep and strong lasting relationships with industry. We work to foster the right business environment for investment success, working within the structures that Dougal's outlined within our strong ecosystem, dynamic startup community, and infrastructure that ensures sustainable operations. Victoria's priority trade and investment sectors include health and life sciences, technology and innovation, advanced manufacturing and defence, clean energy and circular economy, and of course, food, agribusiness, agri-tech. Next slide. The Victorian Government, through Invest Victoria, offers tailored free services to international and domestic companies to support success in Australia and the region. Our services include finding site locations, assisting companies to undertake due diligence and work through developmental approval processes. We provide that strong coordination across all government agencies, making any type of investment in Victoria easier. We provide partner introductions, whether that be with our universities or research ecosystem, or with supply chain partners that you might need. We provide that really critical assistance to find the skills and the talent that you need, connecting in with recruitment assistance. Invest Victoria can support companies to identify appropriate financial assistance across either Australian government funding or Victorian government funding, and that's across different financial products, including debt, equity, and grants. And we recently announced through the Economic Growth Statement a new whole of government investment coordinator general who will start this year to make it even easier for businesses to invest and improve efficiency of approvals for major state significant projects. Next slide. Victoria has long recognised the importance of having a strong global presence and making sure those connections globally can benefit our economy and our community. Underpinning the work that we do is the international network of Victorian government trade and investment offices. The network is made up of 23 offices and over 100 staff in 15 countries. Investment specialists in these offices deliver bespoke support to you and identify market opportunities for Victoria, seamlessly coordinating relationships globally through to our investment managers here on the ground in Victoria. Through this, we see strong flows of investment from key markets. Over the past years, the state's top investors were US, France, UK, Spain and Japan, collectively delivering capital expenditure of over $21 billion to Victoria. Next slide. Thanks, Dougal. These case studies I've included just to illustrate the support that Invest Victoria offer. So Tongala Nutrition was an Indian-owned investor and looking to set up a dairy facility in regional Victoria. So this case study really demonstrates Invest Victoria's capacity to bring together all relevant government agencies on behalf of the private sector, bringing together utilities as well, in this case, to bring forward Tongala's facility very quickly. Of course, for many companies, getting operational in order to activate contracts and leverage client contacts is critical to getting off and running and to business success. With Tongala, Invest Victoria enabled the company to operate quicker than it would have on its own, making connections to local TAFE and community for its recruitment, facilitating supply chain contacts to meet its energy efficiency goals, and even making contact with their product packaging supplier. Next slide. So this final case study comes from our partner agency, Breakthrough Victoria. Excuse me. Breakthrough Victoria was launched. Yeah, thanks.
Just going to give you 1 minute, Rebecca.
Yeah, that's perfect. Breakthrough Victoria was launched 3 years ago to be a private investment company for Victoria, providing patient capital and impact investment to the state's economy. Breakthrough Victoria provides pre-seed to growth equity in innovative companies. And this is an example here of an investment that Breakthrough Victoria has made in a company called Number 8 Bio, an ag tech company creating feed supplements for livestock. So I've raced through the opportunities to work with Invest Victoria. It's lovely that so many of you have joined us, and I'm looking forward to joining my Agriculture Victoria colleagues at Evoke Ag. Please reach out via email or LinkedIn and make a time to chat with me about your specific ambitions for investing in Victoria.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dougal. And Rebecca, that was excellent. And just a reminder, in terms of great for the connections coming through the chat, and also if you're not in a place right now, make sure you reach out to the Grow Ag team afterwards. Now let's look to Western Australia, which was the venue for our last Evoke and has a fantastic agri-food ecosystem. And really happy to pass across now to Simon Tamo, who is the Business Development Manager for Agri-Food Tech at the Department of Primary Industries and Regional Development, who will give you fantastic insight into Western Australia. Over to you, Simon.
Fantastic. Thanks, Harriet. And hello again. Yes, we had a great year last year with Evoke Ag here in Perth. So as Harriet mentioned, my name's Simon Tamo. I'm with the Department of Primary Industries and Regional Development. And really that's the agriculture department for this state. In terms of Evoke Ag, we again hosted last year. We had a fantastic experience with that, and my role in particular was project manager of the international engagement with Evoke Ag last year. So I have a really good understanding of hopefully getting people down to Brisbane this year, and we're certainly going to be over there once again as WA, and hopefully we can engage with you. So I'm just going to take you through a few slides today on Western Australia in an overall context of the state, but also the agri-tech support ecosystem. Let me flick to the next slide. There we go. I think one of the key messages we try and get across with Western Australia is it's such a very big place. It's a second largest administrative division or state or province in the world. And we've got certainly a lot of agricultural land that really just means that we produce quite a lot. We've got the different climatic regions throughout the state, tropical right up in the north, but where most of our agricultural production comes down in the south. Obviously a range of different different climates, and that means we produce a bit of everything. We have a very strong grains industry and livestock and meat as well, but certainly through horticulture and all the other aspects of agriculture, we have a bit of everything. So what that really means is not only the massive numbers that we have for agri-food production, but it also translates to our ag tech sector, which I will go to the next slide. A lot of our ag tech and innovation has developed organically, I suppose, and that comes from being such a big state, but also quite remote from the rest of the world. We've noticed in the last few years, obviously, quite a strong growth in our startup ecosystem and scale-ups. But that comes from a long tradition of farming in Western Australia being from such harsh territories, harsh conditions in many of the areas. So farmers have simply had to innovate, and people in the industry have had to develop their own tech. So that's certainly, I think, a basis for where a lot of our industry comes from. Having said that, we've been supporting ag tech strongly in the last few years. And we've noticed a really strong growth in the amount of businesses that are coming through. I think Victoria just mentioned about 100 in the ag tech space, and I think that's similar for us. We can't always keep an eye on exactly how many are there, but I think it was about 80 or 90 recently, and I keep adding more to our database as we go. As you might expect, Agrifood tech here in Western Australia is very much focused on the upstream and the production side. Again, farmers are really needing to innovate here in Western Australia. A lot of our territories are marginal, but also, again, we have a bit of everything. So there's always some innovation coming out of the pre-farm gate area. And back that final point just there is, again, we have very strong farming across grains, across livestock, but also in the horticulture areas, and the ag tech companies that are servicing the industry come from or are in those spaces as well. In terms of a government context and sort of some wider level policies that do affect or will support and create opportunities for ag tech and agri-food tech in Western Australia, we have a zero carbon commitment, and certainly anything around net zero or carbon farming. And on this point, I suppose, in terms of energy as well, we have very strong renewable energy businesses in Western Australia, and they can be coupled obviously with a lot of the farming and agricultural technology projects. In terms of that MSC certified fishery, that is a really proud moment for us. We've mentioned this in a lot of the things we present to the world. I had a look yesterday actually, and it was actually just before Alaska came in for salmon. We came in as the first ever MSC certified fishery in the world for lobster. So that was about 20-something years ago. So it just gives an idea of the cutting edge aspects of many aspects of the Western Australian agricultural scene. And also mentioning fisheries, we have a very big coastline. So certainly fisheries, any tech to do with the blue economy is very strong here, and we are supporting that as well. Sustainability in the fourth point there is, as you might expect, very important in Western Australia. Again, being so remote, we just have to be sustainable. But also, I guess, our production goes out to the world. Most of our agricultural produce is exported, so the world is demanding sustainability these days. So anything that helps and assists with the sustainability of the agricultural sector in Western Australia is going to be important here, and we welcome innovations that are coming down to the state. Finally, in a similar nature of the exporting fact that I mentioned earlier, we are very focused on biosecurity. My department itself has biosecurity as one of its remits. So we are certainly looking at lots of different innovations, and any technology around biosecurity is important to us to keep the produce that comes out of Western Australia free of many of the problems that the rest of the world has. This is just a slide giving an idea of the breadth, and then again, a lot of what I've just been saying about we have a bit of everything. Certainly we've got a few businesses in a lot of different categories of ag tech and agri-food tech. So that's also supported by the accelerator programs we have here over on the left side. We have the ecosystem builders as well. The events over there, we had Evoke Ag in there for last year, but now it's moved on. But we still have a certain amount of events here that are quite interesting and a great opportunity to host the world if you would like to come down and have a look. But if you look at the very bottom, all those logos there'll be a bunch of those coming over to Brisbane for Evoke Ag this year. Certainly a lot of them were at last year's event, and there's more coming along every. This slide also now gives a bit of an idea of the ecosystem that the research side feeding into the agri-food tech sector. We have 5 really strong universities here. All of them have some type of agriculture program or agribusiness program, and they are out in the world as well, engaging, and we certainly work a lot with them. We also have national bodies in industry specific, but also more general, doing a lot of work in Western Australia. Again, it's a very big place, so there's often tests going on and trials. So a lot of those logos you see there and organisations you see there are working strongly in Western Australia to develop new ideas and innovation. And then over on the right is my department again, and I will mention the Department of Jobs, Tourism, Science and Innovation. We work hand in hand with them. They are the lead department for our sort of investment and export out into the world in every other category other than agriculture. So it makes it a bit tricky, but we work very closely with them. They run our Invest and Trade Western Australia offices out in the world. There's about 15 of those. So it's certainly interesting, and we can make you connections with that department if required. Next slide. This is our key food innovation precinct here in Western Australia. It's been developed in the last 10 years or so. It's been running probably full pace for a few years, and it's a really great opportunity to come down. It's very close to Perth, only about an hour south of the main city where I am. And you can, there's a whole range of food innovation projects going on there. There's fantastic facilities. There are shared spaces available for startups, and the region around is farmland. So there are a lot of opportunities to use the land to develop projects and ideas. And certainly it's a great one. All this information is also on our 2 or 3 pager, I think, that we're distributing with GrowAg. So please take a look at some of these links. In terms of innovation, and I'm getting to the end of the slides here, Harriet, so hopefully I'm on time. We, again, on a more general scale, we're very much looking to support innovation. We have a 10-year strategy. We're only a couple of years into our current one, so it runs through to the early 2030s. And I encourage you to have a look at that strategy, which gives a good idea of the different categories that we're going. Primary industries and agriculture is certainly very highly within that. So have a look at a few of those points there. Very collaborative ecosystem, very supportive business environment. And I guess very safe and stable part of the sort of Southeast Asia column, I guess, going up into the world at the same time zone as most of the world's population, in fact, so within a couple of hours. So that's also a feature. I think final slide before I mention a bit about Evoke, discover your future here. That slide, I think South Australia put a few nice images up earlier. We can hold our own on that front, and that's like a nice one to see. You can floating around while you're doing your projects and research down here. Just at Evoke Ag, we will be there in a 3-person team. About 25-30 businesses, though, will be there. So it's me, Joan, and Deb. Keep an eye out for us, please. There's the purple for Evoke Ag. So, just tried to get that into the slide to make it topical. There's a bunch of the businesses that we're bringing along. We're also bringing a few producers. We're always keen to get farmers into the room, but it's very hard to get them across 5 or 6 hours to Brisbane, but we've managed to get 3. So we're very, hopefully we can introduce a few of those. That's our branding, our stand out in the middle of Evoke Ag. Keep an eye out for the green and the sort of wavy effects there. We've got a Team WA welcome event. We've probably got some spots there. If someone's really interested in coming along saying hello to our wider delegation, please get in touch. International Pitch Challenge, we're also being a big part of. And that's it. Thank you very much. My name's Simon again. There's some of our details. Please have a look at our 3-pager, and I'll say goodbye on that front.
Wonderful. Thank you, Simon. Bang on time. But just on time, we are a little bit behind. So we're just going to flip our order, speakers, and go to you next, Salvo. We will go slightly over time, so please stay with us if you can. And now I'm going to pass to Salvo Vitelli, who is showcasing Queensland. So he's the General Manager for Agribusiness Policy at the Department of Primary Industries, and he is our state partner at this year's Evoke Ag, which is heading to Brisbane on the 18th and 19th. And he's going to share key insights into Queensland. So over to you, Salvo.
Hi, Harriet. Can I just confirm that you guys can see these slides?
We can indeed.
Please? Excellent. Hi all, and thanks for shifting the order. And I know it's been a long slog, so bear with me. Hello from Brisbane. My name, as you heard, is Salvo Vitelli. I am the General Manager of Agribusiness Policy in the Department of Primary Industries. Queensland in Queensland, the second largest state, so from the west to the east now. I also begin by acknowledging all the First Nations peoples, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders, and the traditional custodians on the land at which we meet. For me here in Brisbane, it is the Turrbal and Yagara people, and I pay my respects to elders past and present. I also pay my respects to traditional owners on the lands wherever you are in the globe today. As the host state for Evoke Queensland, I really look forward to welcoming you, our international friends, to Brisbane later this month, when we'll profile the very best of our ag tech system. As the host state for Queensland, we have a fair bit to do. I am very lucky. I work in what I believe is the best department in the country. And what I believe is I work with and have some great people who are really committed to working with business, industry and universities to ensure we have quality food and fibre. As I go through the presentation this morning for here and for you guys overseas in the evening or during the day, I ask you to reflect on a few things and that you hear and ask yourselves, what can I do to collaborate, innovate and partner with Queensland primary industries and the ag tech ecosystem? We have a lot to offer in Queensland, whether you're an investor, a tech developer, a producer or a food manufacturer looking for ag tech solutions, or a researcher wanting to collaborate with an extraordinary research community. So why Queensland? As with other states of Australia, we offer the global ag tech community a stable, supportive government, has low sovereign risk, a talented and skilled agricultural workforce, and a strong focus on environmental, social and governance credentials. And we also take our biosecurity interests seriously. However, in Queensland, we offer scale. We're a really large state with 1.73 million square kilometres devoted to primary production. So in essence, 80% of our state has some form of agriculture on it. We grow 25% of Australia's primary produce. Agriculture, forestry and fisheries and first stage processing is valued at about 22.66 billion. And of this, close to 60% is exported to more than 130 global markets, including our close friends in Asia. We also offer diversity. We have temperate, tropical, subtropical areas across the state that enable production of a really diverse range of commodities, that from oil seeds right through to extensive livestock, intensive livestock, aquaculture, rangeland cropping, grassland systems, intensive hort as well. Of specific interest, we actually have about 50% of Australia's beef comes out of Queensland, and 96% of Australia's sugarcane, 94% of Australia's bananas, and 70% of Australians' cotton. Producers increasingly rely on ag to solve their daily problems, to increase productivity, improve sustainability, and respond to global food demand. We, because of our climate, our systems across the state, we offer the perfect test bed to do this. The next few slides will just start to showcase some of the ag tech in action that we have that Queensland Government supports across the state. With strengths in research and development, commercialisation and extension, the government is really keen to explore partnerships with international companies. This year, the department will manage a research, development and extension, including ag tech budget valued at more than $160 million, which is delivering impact to the livestock, aquaculture, cropping, horticulture, forestry and food processing industries. Our smart farms will be at the centre of these research and development efforts. Each smart farm reflects the needs of local stakeholders. Digital technologies at the smart farms include intelligent apps, robotics, sensors and non-digital innovations such as protected cropping structures, fresh produce packaging, machinery and biotechnology. Here you can see an image from one of our 3 smart farms at Gatton in southeast Queensland. The second smart farm is in central Queensland, up here, supporting broadacre farmers such as grain and cotton producers, and the third is located here in Brisbane. That facility is focused on delivering robust and timely data sets to underpin market access protocols for horticulture and increase the understanding of fruit fly and other pests. At Gatton, we are testing technology to support horticulture producers like VJ's Cowfresh, a major vegetable grower and exporter in the region. Our smart farm enables us to roll out tech to commercial farms just like this one to assess return on investment which is also powerful for ag tech developers, my apologies, to know how to produce their offering. Our smart farms are starting to build real momentum. We're seeing producers make instant investments after seeing ag tech working locally. We want to continue this momentum. This is an image of a DPI's protected cropping facility in North Queensland, soon to be replicated in the southeast. Here, Queensland premium produce melons are grown in a controlled pest-free environment to ensure reduced chemical use and regular water and nutrition. This ensures consistency in size and sugar levels, or Brix levels. These melons are designed to target the high-end sweet melon market in Japan. DPI's beef researchers are developing a surveillance camera system and mobile app using artificial intelligence modelling that can identify disease symptoms such as skin lesions and production issues, including changes in behaviour or body condition in cattle in remote locations. The data is captured by camera, is automatically analysed and feedback to producers. The app will potentially put this kind of remote surveillance tool in every producer's hand. These projects are being done in partnership with others, as you'd appreciate. DPI aquaculture researchers are working with industry on new technologies to reduce waste and algae to improve effluent water quality. This is important given the location of these aquaculture farms and near our iconic Great Barrier Reef. DPI's supply chain innovation team are working with industry on a national project that includes trialling the very latest data logging technology to improve the quality and consistency of products like Queensland avocados to market. So we've talked a little bit about the DPI work, but now I'm really keen to explore some of the businesses. Queensland's agricultural products and regional industries are the best in the world, and our innovations are launching ag tech founders onto the global stage. I want to share 2 ag tech success stories with you. These stories are about the people who are at the heart of the ag tech innovation. We celebrate the entrepreneurial spirit and the innovative technology they've created to support primary producers. Great ag tech is about enabling farmers and growers to produce better quality food for the world by improving the productivity, efficiency, sustainability of our production systems. This is something all of us working in primary industries really want to achieve. The first one, as I said before, beef is big business with 50% of the total beef herd located in Queensland. Our beef industry is the largest in Australia. 98% of businesses are family owned, and annually we produce about 1.1 million tonnes of beef and veal. Our feedlot and meat processing sectors are the state's largest agricultural manufacturing employers. Premium beef is valued in close to $7 billion and is exported to 60 countries. Emma Black and Shannon Spate, who you see on the right here, are young entrepreneurs passionate about the beef cattle industry. They identified a major problem. Producers, meat processors were collecting huge amounts of data about their livestock with no way to organise, analyse or share it across the supply chain. That's when startup Black Box Company was born. This cloud-based platform collects and analyses raw data on genetics, fertility, meat science and nutrition, and feeds it back to producers and their supply chain partners via an easy-to-use dashboard. Producers might want to see how their cattle are performing at the feedlot. Black Box lets them do that. It can reveal details about whether a cow is going to have a calf prior to being joined with a bull, how long to feed an animal for, right through to an expected sale price. Actionable data insights have been delivered on 5.5 million animals across the entire beef supply chain to date. Black Box has really taken the guesswork out of cattle production and processing. What a great initiative. And 2 young people enthusiastic about their sector, doing some amazing things. The second example of a business or businesses that are really making a difference. Jossie and Andrew Bates' company.
Just going to give you 1 minute, Salvo.
Thank you. Swarm Farm Robotics started in a paddock with a simple vision to use robots to create better farming systems, reducing both labour and chemical use. Fast forward 12 years and Swarm Farm Robotics now has a fleet of 135 customised robots designed by farmers for farmers. The robots have clocked up 240,000 hours across 2.5 million hectares of commercial operations in Australia, and they estimate they've saved 6 million tonnes of chemicals in the process. Amazing, but their story really isn't about robots. It's about farming for the future. These are just two of the many companies the Queensland Government is proud to have as part of Team Queensland at Evoke. And I encourage you to come and visit us at the trade display stand. Our Evoke Ag call to action is to collaborate and grow, innovate and grow with Queensland Ag Tech. As our national and international guests arrive to Brisbane this month, I ask you again, think about what you or your business could achieve in ag tech ecosystems. Queensland's ready to grow trusted partnerships with you. I look forward to meeting you later this month. Safe travels to Brisbane and to our beautiful state in Queensland. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Salvo. And I'm just going to pass to Angela now, who is the Senior Manager for Evoke Ag. We are extremely excited to be heading up to the Sunshine State, which is going to be incredibly exciting. And if you are attending, and I'm sure Angela's going to cover this, there are a number of sideline events that you can have a look at on the Evoke Ag website under the program. So over to you, Angela.
Thanks, Harriet. Thanks for the introduction. Hello, everybody. The countdown is officially on for Evoke, so we're delighted to be heading to Queensland for our 5th iteration of Evoke Ag on the 18th and 19th of February. And we look forward to welcoming 2,000 delegates from around the globe to the beautiful city of Brisbane. Our theme for this year's event is Common Ground. So I think it goes without saying that we have some monumental challenges affecting us right now. And certainly this highlights the need for us to come together and address these as a collective. We've got a new event format. So Evoke Ag 2025 promises to be a hands-on collaborative experience for everyone in attendance. And we've got 3 key pillars that underpin the event. The first one is to inspire and provoke. And this is exactly what you'll see on our main plenary stage. We certainly want our delegates to feel somewhat uncomfortable and a little bit challenged by what they'll hear in these sessions. You know, what are those big questions that need to be answered? Then we've got our showcase and educate pillar. These sessions will be in our big breakout room and will be much more focused on research, science and producer with lots of case studies and those tangible takeaways. Our third pillar is our connect and collaborate. This is something new for 2025, and these will be held in 2 breakout rooms and very much roundtable workshop style sessions where we're really encouraging that active participation and certainly looking for outputs so we can continue that conversation well after Evoke. Our program is underpinned by 4 threads: economics and trade, sustainability and environment, innovation and future technology, and workforce and skills gap. And you'll see these threads weave throughout the 2 days with an impressive lineup of speakers and sessions. I'll get the team to pop in the chat the link to the program so you can have a look at it. We've also got a huge exhibition space within the venue. So we'll have 40 startups from around the world participating in our Startup Alley. We've got 12 scale-ups, in our scale-up station area. We've got a demo stage which will feature a number of companies discussing their technologies. And we've also got our 15 RDCs that will form part of the R&D Impact Hub, along with a number of our partner exhibitors as well. In terms of audience, we're really deliberate about this being broad, with everyone from investors, producers, researchers, corporates, RDCs, startups, universities, all being in attendance. So you've certainly got the opportunity to have the right conversations with the right people in the room at the one time. We'll also have a number of international delegations from a number of companies, a number of countries attending as well. We're responsible for a number of events. Starting on the Monday night prior to Evoke, we have our welcome event, which is a casual way to kick off a big few days. We've also got a culinary capital dinner. It's a small invite-only event for investors and startups. And then we start day 1 of Evoke with our X Factor breakfast, which focuses on women in ag and tech. And then we round out the proceedings of day 1 with our Festival of Food, which features all the best produce Queensland has to offer. The great thing about Evoke, and Harriet alluded to this in the introduction, is the number of sideline events the ecosystem holds in and around Evoke. We've already got 50 sideline events registered, And we certainly encourage anyone that's coming to Evoke to not only come for 2 days, but come for a week. There's tours, there's summits, there's breakfast, there's pitch events, ag tech meetups, you name it, they all happen in and around Evoke. Tickets are selling out fast, so I would encourage you, if you are thinking about attending Evoke, to get in and get those tickets. And myself and the broader team certainly look forward to welcoming you in Brisbane. And then before I jump off, I'd just like to say a big thank you to our Platinum partner Elders, our host state partner, the wonderful Queensland Government, and our host city partner, the Brisbane Economic Development Agency. So these guys have certainly partnered with us every step of the way, and we look forward to delivering Evoke Ag 2025 with them. So thanks, Harriet, back to you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ange. And that was some great insights to Evoke Ag, and do encourage you, if you haven't got your tickets yet, to make sure that you are getting them soon, because they are selling out. So, right, just want to thank everyone for their engagement via the chat and the Q&A function. I'm conscious that we've gone over time. So we will just do a couple of questions. And as part of today's session, I just wanted to confirm that we put together a digital resource that summarises all the key highlights from each state and territory and provides links to further information. And this resource will be a great tool for you to explore connections and companies across Australia. And we will also get a copy of this recording of the webinar today, and we'll also be sending a survey out, and we'd love your feedback. So just quickly, I'm going to head to some of the questions and then also answer some too. So first question is on how is GrowAg connected to Evoke Ag, and what's your involvement in the event? I'm just going to pass to you, David, to quickly answer that one.
Thanks, Harriet. Great session today, guys. So obviously a lot of people are coming to the event. That's the that's the physical representation of this community. Come and connect with the GrowAg team at our exhibit. We can help you connect with people directly at the event, but also to start understanding a bit more about your business and the types of partners that you'd like to connect with following the event. So come and sound out myself, Beck Bradford, Annabelle Rogers, or Noah Tasker at our stand. And if you'd like to share some information with us about that beforehand, send us an email at connect@growag.com. Thank you.
Thanks, David. And I might ask for two states to answer this one. I might pass to Salvo and then another volunteer. But we did have a question of, do any states have significant investment in respiration chambers for CH4 emissions reduction research? It's a very technical one there.
Thanks, Harriet. I will have to take that one on notice if that's okay.
Yeah.
We have our supply chain team that is looking at the best approaches to get horticulture produce. I assume it's relating to horticulture. Can I please get your details sent to me and I will connect you? Sorry, Harriet, I'll just...
No, that's excellent. Ailey, I'll pass to you.
I would also like to take that one on notice. I believe we've got some work happening at our research station in Glen Innes with some sheep feeding in a more enclosed system, but we're also putting a Optiway that has an ag scent attached to it onto a farm up in the Northern Rivers region. So if we could connect on that specifically, that would be great. We've got those two not quite up and running yet, but not far off it. So we'd love to share those insights.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ailey. There was a question from Sophie just around, do all state governments have stands? If you are attending Evoke Ag, I would encourage you to download the app that has a link of all of our exhibitors and also those that are attending, and then you can actually book meetings directly through the app. So if you've been to an event like World Agri-Tech before, you do have that opportunity. But we definitely have, as you saw in the presentations, the Department of Primary Industries from Western Australia have a stand, and then also our host city partners this year, the Queensland government will be front and centre in the exhibition space. Tim, I saw your hand up. Did you just want to, was there anything that you wanted to add on that question before?
No, not from me. No, Harriet, that's fine.
Excellent.
Just wanted to show my face.
Oh, well, thank you for that. So if we didn't get to all the questions, but we are taking notes and we'll circulate responses from our speakers, and we know there are a couple taken on notice, so we'll share those after the webinar. I just want to say a big thank you to all of you for joining today, whichever time zone or country that you're joining from. It's fantastic to have you with us this morning here in Australia, and we look forward to seeing a number of you at EvokeAg in Brisbane. Reminder, there are a number of fantastic events being run by a number of partners on these calls and on this call and others. So have a great day or evening, depending on where you are in the world. Many thanks.